And a very good morning. It's Sunday, August the 17th, 2014. You're checking out a special live edition of the RCWR Show. We're doing something a little unique for you guys, and feedback is important. We want to know if maybe you want to see this happen a little bit more often, so make sure you post those comments down below as we're doing a live Call That Match edition. Those of you that's familiar with that series, great. Those of you that's not, in a nutshell, we look at each respective wrestling pay-per-view card, and we try to tackle who could be the winners from that, while also setting up key events that could take place leading up to the next pay-per-view. In this case, we're talking about WWE Summerslam. I'm not alone on this one. I've got, and what better way to talk about a pay-per-view card, booking and all that, than with the evil genius, manager extraordinaire. You may be familiar with his work from such promotions as Vendetta Pro Wrestling, Primos Wrestling. He was one of the finalists from TNA Gut Check, the online competition. It's my good pal, Titus Machiavelli. Titus, Sunday, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sanders. How are you?
It's Sunday.
I've got my coffee. I'm good to go. I have my evil genius cap on. I'm ready to talk SummerSlam, one of my top 3 or 4 favorite cards all year round. I'm a sketchy guy. I put WrestleMania even with Royal Rumble. I love the Rumble. So SummerSlam is right there amongst the top, and it's an exciting card from top to bottom for the most part. Lots of storylines going on. You've got wrestling's past, you've got wrestling's future with some great matchups. So I'm really excited about tonight's show.
I am too. In anticipation of getting ready for the card, I was actually, part of the reason why I'm a little bit fatigued this morning, I actually was doing a SummerSlam marathon, and somebody had actually sent me a private message on Facebook. They were like, Lee, you can see every single moment that happened from SummerSlam over the years on WWE's YouTube channel, right? They crammed it all somehow in 30 minutes. I'm like, huh? So, I mean, that's nice, but I actually want to really take in the nostalgia. So for those of you that have the WWE Network, it's only...
And Lee, how much did that network cost? Yeah, $9.99.
It's only $9.99. You can relive every single SummerSlam moment. I would highly encourage you to do it. I mean, look, you might not have enough time to do a marathon, but Titus, if we could maybe point out some key SummerSlams to get them ready. Correct me if I'm wrong, buddy, but SummerSlam 2002, when Brock Lesnar had defeated The Rock for the WWE Championship, I think that's a really good key moment right there for
one of my favorites. It's actually the very first pay-per-view I ever watched. And that would be the very first SummerSlam. And that would be 1988, if I recall right. Now, I went and saw WrestleMania 3 and 4 on closed circuit. And for you that are as old as I am, closed circuit, you'll remember you go to either a theater. I went to McNichols Sports Arena in Denver, Colorado, and you went to a public place and you watched it via closed circuit. You still bought a ticket. This was the very first pay-per-view I ever got. This was the Mega Powers and the Mega Bucks.
Oh, yes.
Hogan, Savage, and DiBiase and Andre. Currently, 3 of the 4 are in the Hall of Fame. We all know Savage belongs there. It was a great first event ever. That's one of my moments that stands out in my mind.
Oh, don't forget the British Bulldogs, Davey Richards, Dynamite Kid. They took on the fabulous Ruggles brothers.
Not Davey Richards. You're getting a wolf there. Davey Boy Smith.
I apologize. Yes, Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah. I loved. How about the end of the longest Intercontinental Championship run of all time, when the Honky Tonk Man made a open challenge, which was answered by, of course, the late Great Warrior. That was a moment.
Yeah. Bad News Brown taking on Ken Patera.
Yes.
They're right tripping over Bad News Barrett. No. Every time I see and hear him, I keep thinking of Bad News Brown.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. SummerSlam is the only pay-per-view event that has taken place outside of North America, correct? It was out in London, England. You had the Bulldog and Bret Hart,
Yeah.
if I recall that right, for the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
SummerSlam's a great one. They've made SummerSlam into, the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, it's been in Los Angeles. They've really pushed SummerSlam as that WrestleMania of the summer. It's that halfway point between one WrestleMania until the next one. So we're like halfway, to the next one here. They do a little version of the WrestleMania stuff that goes on every year. They've got the signings. They've got the different events they do throughout the weekend. So it's kind of a mini WrestleMania sort of event.
Let me ask you real quick while we're talking SummerSlam. I mean, we've been seeing SummerSlam take place at the Staples Center, including tonight. It's going to be for 6 consecutive years now. Do you see some type of break coming about where WWE decides they want to try a different venue, or do you think, given what's going on with the economy right now and all that, this is probably going to be something that's going to stretch out at least for another 2 to 4 years?
I would love this. I'm of two minds. One side of it, I'd love to see it tour, because I would love to have it here on the East Coast where maybe you and I could go see it and not have to travel across the country. Right. However, it is it's in Los Angeles. It's in Hollywood. There's something about that also works. The weather's perfect in Los Angeles. The traffic is there's no traffic in LA. It's a good place to be. If you're going to have that summer event, that spectacular, it's not a bad place to pick it there in Los Angeles at Staples Center. Could you maybe get a bigger place? Maybe you could fit a few more thousand people in something else. It works though. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, on the other half of me says I'd love to see it tour, because I'd like to be able to have it closer to. And of course, I was living out in the central of California, and I still didn't go, and I was only 4 hours away from it to 3 hours away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it rotate every year or every 2 to 3 years. Like Los Angeles gets it because it doesn't get any more further west coast than California. But then maybe they could bring it back to Madison Square Garden. Or where did they do WrestleMania? What was it? 2 years ago. Was that in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Or they could do that. Yeah, I'd like to see them do one of those two venues. I mean, I think that would be pretty awesome. Everybody and their mother comes to those two areas right there.
MSG is a great point. I mean, you could alternate it 1 year at MSG, next year at Staples Center, and then you're doing East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast for sure. Mm-hmm. If I was trying to do the best sort of balancing act, I would probably put SummerSlam on the West Coast the same year I put WrestleMania on the East Coast. Right. And then next year, you flip-flop. So you're always having that big event on one side of the country every single year. Because, as you know, WrestleMania 31 is going to be in California as well. So you're going to have the next two, quote-unquote, top pay-per-view events both on the West Coast side of the country.
Right, right. Let's talk about this SummerSlam card. We were talking about this dark match, apparently, that was made out of thin air. Now, to your knowledge, I just want to make sure we're not really harping on this here, but to your knowledge, main event, SmackDown, as far as you know, nothing that would justify this dark match we're going to be seeing in just a handful of hours.
I don't think there was any, and I know our wonderful listeners are going to correct us if we're wrong, and you can tweet me at Evil Genius Titus on Twitter if I am wrong, but I don't think there's any storyline. Did they have a match over the last couple of weeks? Maybe, but nothing storyline-wise I think that pushes this match. And as I said to you offline, Lee, the thing about this pre-show match, before every live event, there's always been what we call a dark match. Kind of warms the crowd up, gets them ready to go. Live event goes. These guys are already jacked up. The advent of the network kind of gives you this pre-show deal, and they kind of started doing this on YouTube, pushing their YouTube channel prior to the network. It's just a typical dark match. Generally, two pretty good workers going to put together a pretty good match to get the crowd really ready to go, and that's what this is. I mean, you got RVD and Cesaro. They match up well. They both put on a good match. I think it's an easy match to get people up and going for, because when that quote unquote camera goes live, you want that crowd up and hyped and ready to go. You don't want them sitting on their hands.
Right. Other
Other than that, it's a no-nothing match. It's just a dark match. It's just a heat the crowd up type of thing. There's no story. There's no progression. Unless they build something off of this, which I don't imagine in a pre-show they will, because it's only 600,000 people are going to watch this via the network, which you can get for only
$9.99.
$9.99. So yeah, to me it's just a heat match. There's nothing to it.
If you had to pick a winner,
I picked Cesaro.
you pick Cesaro.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's this. He wins this week. Next week he's scheduled to lose, and then the week after that he's scheduled to win again. It's just like an every other week thing with Cesaro. It looks like they've got nothing for him ever since the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. He's just been hit and miss. So I think he goes over RVD. But anything is possible. There's no rhyme or reason to a dark match. It's a coin flip in some ways.
It is. It really is.
No, it really is a coin flip. I mean, unless they're building something off of this, you put the younger guy over, and in this case, I think the right thing to do. RVD's not trying to do anything other than have a few more shows under his belt, make a few more bucks. I mean, he's not anything. He has nothing to prove on a Hall of Fame career. Cesaro should just go over, and RVD will make him look good.
I'm with you, Cesaro. Next match, I'm looking at the card myself. I just want to kind of go from lowest to highest. Let's go with Miz taking on Dolph Ziggler, Intercontinental Championship.
Well, first off, before we go, there are out of 8 matches on this card.
Yeah.
I would say that as I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these 8 could easily be the main event on Raw tomorrow night. I think that's that good of a card. It really is. On paper, it's a really good card, and that includes Brie Bella and Stephanie being a main event match on Raw. I wouldn't put AJ and Paige, and I probably wouldn't put Swagger and Rusev. So the lowest of the, I could put even Miz Dolph for the Intercontinental title. That could be anyways. So it's a good card, but yeah, the lowest of them two, I would say, probably would be the Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, which is sad because this is the Intercontinental title. Yeah. This is a prestigious history and lineage, but unfortunately, it's been mitigated to the bottom of a card. This for me is probably the one toss-up match in the entire card. It could go either way. Miz should win, because this right now they're pushing him in his new gimmick, his Hollywood gimmick, his straight to VHS movie. It's not that good. It's going on VHS, it doesn't go on Blu-ray. But the question you have is, does WWE hand the ball to Ziggler and say, okay, we're going to give you another chance. We've had some issues in the past. The crowd's behind you. You've been healthy. You've done the dirt that we've asked you to do for the last year. Do they hand him the ball? I'm not sure that they're ready to do that right now, and they've invested some money into the Miz. So I think Miz goes over just for that sheer fact that it's his movie and all of that and the new gimmick. But I'll pick the Miz, but I think that I would not be surprised if they said, okay, Ziggler, here's the ball. What are you going to do with it?
If they were to pull the trigger and give it to Ziggler, I think the payoff, and some people might disagree with me on this, but I think the payoff would be maybe as early as Night of Champions, since that's going to be their next pay-per-view. I could maybe see them entertaining the move there. But I think for now, to kind of follow up on what you're saying, and I'm just looking also at it from that PR standpoint, even though we don't like the few movies that WWE puts out, in this case Miz involved with the Marine franchise, it is going to be coming out, and they got to get that good PR work out there and all that. No doubt Miz has probably had a very busy weekend plugging that and other projects that he's going to be doing. Honestly, I say leave the belt on him going out of SummerSlam. you can entertain putting the strap on Ziggler at a later date at Night of Champions. But I'm with you. It really does kind of seem like this go round, the WWE brass that is behind the Miz, they want to test him out again. And I know some people probably don't like the Miz, but he's growing on me, Titus. I've got to admit. I mean, he's done some really good matches within recent weeks. He's winning.
He's pushing. He's an old school heel.
Yeah.
And that's what we're missing in WWE. So I get we're tired of being force-fed the Miz. The argument, if you just take the Miz out of the argument and you plug in even Dolph Ziggler, if Dolph Ziggler was in the same position the Miz was right now, we'd be all saying we're tired of Dolph Ziggler.
True.
It's what's gone on with him. Part of it's creative. He is a good, old-fashioned heel. He gets heat, which is what you're supposed to do in this business. You don't want to be cheered as a heel. And that's where Bray Wyatt has got some issues right now. He's being revered, and he's the bad guy. We're not supposed to be liking the bad guy. Miz is just doing his job very, very well. He gets serious heat, but like you said, he is a PR machine. He's one of those guys who can go from ABC to NBC to CBS to Fox Sports to ESPN to this radio and that radio all in one day, and you know what? He seems to like it.
Right.
So if you got a guy who's a PR machine, who does well, who interviews well, who holds himself well, who stays in character the entire time. I mean, we just had him on YouTube yesterday or the day before on the Ice Bucket Challenge in complete character. Not going to put pour ice water on the money maker. And then there's, of course, Maurice who dumps the water on him. It was in character. Even on a YouTube video, he is kayfabing the hell out of it. And I'm old school. And that, for me, is why I like The Miz. He's old school, and he plays his character the way it should be played. Now, whether creative keeps it, going the right way, that's a different thing. Whether people like it, that's the point. You're not supposed to like him. Remember that, guys. When you're cheering for the heel, you're not supposed to cheer for the heel. You're supposed to hate the heel. Now, of course, I have an affinity for the heel. Can't imagine that. But he's doing it right, and so you need to continue to push him. It might be time to give Ziggler a second or third look, but not tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. It is SummerSlam, but this is an opportunity to continue to push this storyline further. Maybe Miz gets over with a quick roll up. Hey, maybe Miz gets counted out. He walks away from the match, walks up the aisle. This is my moneymaker. I'm not going to get hurt. Gets counted out. Ziggler goes over in a count out, but that pushes it further to the Night of Champions.
I could see that happening. Yeah. I could totally see that happening.
And it's a classic heel. It's a total heel move.
That's a very good move to go as well. And then leading up to Night of Champions, you can add in the stipulation that, okay, you guys are going to be getting it on once again, but it's going to be a no disqualification match.
Well, actually, what you could do is you could take Ziggler gets the shot tomorrow night on Raw.
Okay.
And again, something goes on where Miz gets disqualified or something, and so you set Night of Champions and you can lose them. You can lose the Intercontinental title on anything. If you're disqualified, you lose the title. You get counted out, you lose the title. Pin, submission, anything that happens, you lose the title. That would make a nice stipulation to have for the match. You can kind of build to Miz will do anything to keep the title, but now he's backed into the corner where you have to actually win. And then, of course, he doesn't win. That would be, for me, that makes more sense building up to Night of Champions that way.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, we got the same wavelength, and I'm still shaking off the Sandman over here. A very good Sunday morning to you guys. I see we got some people checking us out live right now. Good morning to you all. Hope you guys are pumped up for SummerSlam as we are. If you're enjoying our Call That Match prediction special, please make sure you go out of your way to give this piece a thumbs up. And you can also share it a number of ways by Facebooking it, Google Plusing it, retweeting it, one of the many ways you can spread a good word about us. Titus, there was one match that, as we continue to talk now, that I'm looking at that I definitely want to talk about next. Let me just pull it up right here. I got to minimize my window. Let's bring it back up here. Talk about, let's go right to it. I mean, this could be, what's the right words I'm looking for? This could be one of those type of matches that may have a lot of people talking. It's possible. I'm talking about Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, lumberjack match. Somebody brought up a very good point to me the other day when they were talking about this match. They said, Lee, do you think that maybe the lumberjacks could be guys that consists of folks who the Shield had pissed off as they were getting beat up by them and everything, and then that way it would justify both guys getting the tar beat out of them? Because if it was just lumberjacks that pretty much were, I guess, on the authorities' payroll, then there would just be no way for Dean Ambrose to come out of this match with a W. Kind of had me thinking right there. What do you think when you hear that?
It makes sense. However, the biggest guys who were battling the Shield, if you go back to WrestleMania 29, you were looking at the Big Show, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. Those were the guys who took on the Shield at WrestleMania. You haven't seen any. Clearly, Randy Orton is part of the Authority, so he and Seth are quote unquote on the same side. You haven't seen any heat from Sheamus towards Dean Ambrose. I think if you were going to build up that storyline, you'd want to remind folks that since Sheamus isn't in a match tonight, remind folks that this goes back to that point. Sheamus maybe bumps into him in a spot backstage. You know, I'm looking forward to being a lumberjack at your match. Might have some payback. You know, there's been no reminder of that. And of course, Big Show just returned this past week on SmackDown. There's been no reminder of it. So other than us nerds who pay attention to this stuff, and those, you know, you and me and those, and I mean nerd in a good way, it doesn't add up because we've not been reminded of that. In my opinion, I think it makes more of what's going on that it is the Authorities guys. I mean, here we have the Beat the Clock challenge, and the Authority threw the wrinkle there. It is in Triple H's interest, that is best for business, to do such a thing. And that then, in turn, puts more heat on the heel, puts more love for the face, and you know now he's in a no-win situation. He can't win, and then you really want to root for him because now he's screwed. He picks the stipulation. He picks the lumberjack match, but there's Plan B, which is I picked the lumberjacks, and now what are you going to do? That makes more sense in this situation. Even though I get where we're coming from on the thing on the Shield and the guys in there, but there just isn't any build up to that.
I agree. So who do we see walking out of this? Because for me, I'm looking at this right now, just hearing the news about Dean Ambrose getting ready to star in a new WWE film, I can't help but say to myself, okay, well, does Dean Ambrose maybe come out with a win tonight, and then tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, do you have Seth Rollins get that heat back and he does some type of a brutal beatdown on Dean Ambrose? That takes him out for a few weeks, and then they can pick up right where they left off? Or do you maybe have Dean Ambrose make his exit tonight with Seth Rollins picking up the victory to boost Monday night on how he handed Dean Ambrose his behind? But then you have to tackle the new threat that's going to be coming to Seth Rollins. Who's that new threat going to be?
I think the writing is on the wall when you hear that Dean's going to take some time off.
Right.
Playing into what I just said about the Authorities guys,
Yeah.
I think you have a couple of things. You're going to have the Authorities hand-chosen lumberjacks, which makes it a no-win situation for Dean Ambrose, who's been sporting the gimmicked shoulder for weeks and weeks. Well, I think that plays into this. And Seth is the Money in the Bank holder. He has to continue to show that he is strong and capable, even in a dirty cheating situation. I think that tonight Seth Rollins continues his hot streak of wins since turning heel and joining the Authority. He goes over in this match, but not clean. Clearly, it's some shenanigans going on. A beat down, an injury to the shoulder. Maybe it separates the shoulder. Maybe it does whatever it does to the shoulder. He's out of action indefinitely. And then he goes to make the movie. Seth runs around claiming, I am the architect of the Shield. I destroyed Dean Ambrose. I am the man, yada, 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 which could play to some heat with Roman Reigns, although that maybe not. But I think Seth goes over tonight. He claims victory. He's destroyed the Shield. He's destroyed Dean Ambrose. It's over. Down the road, once the movie is said and done and completed, one Monday night, or maybe at Night of Champions or whatever, pay-per-view, Dean makes his shocking return. He's not dead. He's not destroyed. Quite the opposite. The shoulder is healed, and they pick up and they continue going from there. I got Seth Rollins in a victory and a Dean Ambrose laid to waste moment tonight. Which is sad because right now Dean Ambrose is hot. He is burning hot. The crowd is completely into him. We're into him. I'm hot. He's hot right now, and to take him off of TV, to me, is poor timing.
Yes,
because you're taking him off of TV when he's burning hot. He could sell T-shirts right now. He could sell John Cena wristbands right now. It's unfortunate that we're going to take him off of TV potentially. Let me make that. This is all potentially. Take him off of TV at a point where he's burning hot right now. You never want to come off of TV when you've got you're making money.
Yeah. Do we see maybe somebody like a veteran and Rob Van Dam sliding in to take Dean Ambrose's place leading up to the next pay-per-view, just so Seth Rollins has something to do?
I hope not. I love RVD, but I loved RVD 10 years ago. I hope not. I think we've seen some of that. I don't think there's anything there. We saw that tested the waters on Raw last week?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think that you've got a likely candidate in Roman Reigns because he the whole Shield and finalizing the destruction of the Shield. Yeah. Although I think there are other plans for Roman Reigns, and I'll talk about that later. But no, I don't think that is going to happen. I just don't. Maybe that's where you pull Sheamus in there and say, I remember you. I remember when you pulling all the stuff, fella, when you were part of the Shield. And now you've got the U.S. champion and the Money in the Bank, and maybe you pull the U.S. title off of Sheamus and put it on Seth. So now he's the Money in the Bank and the U.S. champion. It just continues to push him further. It gives Sheamus something to work. I don't know how they match up, but it could be a decent little program. But I hope it's not a Rob Van Dam. It's going to be a baby face, and you don't have a ton of them not doing something at the moment.
Yeah, because I'm seeing the finish line that you mentioned, Night of Champions. Seth is looking to cash it in, and Dean Ambrose pops up. I think that would be a great mark-out moment for Dean Ambrose fans, no doubt.
The problem that you have with him cashing in anytime soon is once we talk about the main event, what happens is what I think happens, then he's not cashing in Money in the Bank for a while.
Yeah. We were teasing Roman Reigns earlier. He's going to be taking on Randy Orton tonight. Contrary to the reports that some people were putting out there for the WWE live events that they went to, where they talked about how at some of these house shows, Orton and Roman Reigns was considered the weakest match of the card. They were getting boos. They had some really good chemistry going on Raw the past couple of weeks, especially with what had came about from the great promo that Roman Reigns. Is that man getting better or what? I mean,
he is. He's getting better. I was reading this morning reports from San Jose last night that the match was good. Wasn't great, was good. He missed a Superman punch by a mile, but Randy clearly sold it. The point of a house show, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing more than practice. It's to practice to see how you react to one thing or another. Over the last couple of weeks, they've tried different spots, they've done different finishes, they've done different endings, practicing for the time where it actually counted. This is all practice on house events. It's to generate some additional income, to practice the outcome of the match, to tease gimmick, to tease heel changes, to tease matchups. It is a practice arena. So don't take anything you see on house shows to be, it's like the alternate Star Wars universe. It happened in some form, but it doesn't count when it comes to the Star Wars universe. The same kind of idea. What happened last night in San Jose has no implication upon what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
And I'd rather them blow it in San Jose, California, in front of 5,000 people than blow it in front of 18,500 and possibly 1 million people on pay-per-view.
Everybody's expecting Roman Reigns to get the W here. Does WWE go that route, or do they maybe surprise folks and don't give them what they want and have Randy Orton somehow slither away with a victory?
I think anything less than the continuation of the Roman Empire is a mistake. He is building up. He is the perceived future of the company. He's the next in line, so to speak. A loss kind of buries him. In some ways, I think, and I'm one of the first guys to claim this, Michael Cole, the Roman Empire does march on. I think that he beats Orton in a classic baby heel matchup where Randy is laying into him. Randy is laying into him. Possibly I see a spot for Kane to make a sort of an interference of some sort, really putting pressure on Roman Reigns to win. I see Roman coming back in classic good guy, bad guy way, getting the victory in insurmountable odds, and then that leads to a program where Roman takes on Kane at Night of Champions down the as we go along, because he's still in this battle with the Authority, and that's the main storyline going on right now. That's why I don't put Roman and Seth together yet, because Seth and Dean aren't done. No matter what happens tonight, they're not done tonight. So Roman and Seth is going to probably come about by I would think by Royal Rumble time. But I think you bridge it with a Kane coming up, because he has to work his way through the Authority. So in a classic wrestling matchup, protagonist antagonist, the face comes back from near death, hits that Superman punch, gets the victory, and marches on towards potentially, I'm going to use that word, potentially WrestleMania.
AJ Lee defending her Divas Championship against Paige.
I think that this is pretty cut and dry, all right? And it's not going to make people happy what I'm going to say. But Paige goes over tonight, in my opinion. I'm booking this card. I need a strong, a strong, believable heel character. Paige is evolving into that over the last month. AJ is over. She's over as a babyface. From the minute she made her return, she was a babyface. And everyone loved her, and she doesn't get damaged in a loss tonight. Paige is building upon herself as a heel. I think she takes a step back to AJ and a step back in the Divas division by losing because she's not as believable as a heel. I think that she has to go over. I think she should probably go over dirty, pulling the tights, foot on the rope, something just to be totally healed out, get the victory. And I think this matchup, AJ and Paige, could be this generation, this decade's Trish and Lita. We can see how that works out, but that could be a Trish and Lita, which means this is only chapter 1, and it's going to be a novel. So I think that I think Paige needs it tonight, and AJ doesn't. She doesn't need to win. She's good. She's over. People love her. She's a face. She's the face of the Divas division. Let's put her in that role of getting screwed out of the title and having to fight her way back to getting it from Paige. And Paige continues to build upon being that strong heel that Trish once was, that Lita once was. I think that Paige has that ability. She's young. She's a lot to learn. But I think tonight would allow her to do that. So as much as I like AJ, and I really do, I think Paige needs it a little bit more storyline-wise.
Now, see, I got to play devil's advocate a little bit because one...
Of course you do.
One could argue that, well, wait a minute. If Paige is going to get the Divas Championship back, then why didn't they keep the belt on her the first go-round, right? But then, furthermore, why didn't they just have her show her evil intentions, if you will, once AJ Lee came back? And basically it was kind of like one of those mind games where she's just trying to keep her enemy close until she feels it's the right time, then turn on them. And then, boom, you could have had this match before the Divas Championship, and then maybe it should have been AJ Lee that should have taken away the belt from Paige. Because when I think about it in retrospect, Titus, I look at from when AJ Lee came back this go-round all the way up to now, I just kind of felt like them taking the title off of Paige was really a big mistake. Now, I think we all could be in agreement. Paige was a little bit too wet behind the ears to be put in that position, as she showed potential, but she wasn't ready at that point to be a Divas champion. But my whole thing is, okay, you put the belt on her, you basically elevated her, you promoted her from girls like Natalya, Layla, hell, Tamina Snuka before she went out on injury. Or now that I'm thinking about it, I think Tamina was already injured by the time Paige came up. But you elevate Paige in this role of Divas champion, only to have her, and I hate when a major belt at that, is dropped on just a regular edition of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. My whole thing is, if you got the right cast, get that money, man. Make it happen on a pay-per-view. So, Titus, why not have Paige keep the title, befriend AJ for a few weeks, turn on her, boom, we have this first time ever they lock it up for the title, AJ wins, or Paige retains.
I think it goes back to what we said on this show just at that time, was it was a reset. You have Paige, we're ready to bring her to main roster. She's the cute little, likable girl. Oh, wait, she's not. She's not getting over. She's not being believable. Guys like you and me are saying, nope, don't buy it. So let's get AJ back. She's due to come back anyways. People are going to be pro AJ just because, she even when she was a little crazy chick, people liked her. They're going to be pro AJ because they're going to be pro her because of her husband. Let's just put her out there, have her come out and go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry too. Hey, let me have a match. Okay, have a match. And Paige loses the exact same way that she wins, plants that seed in her head. It gives you the reboot. It gives that thing in her head where it kind of snaps, and you can kind of see over those couple weeks leading up that she kind of that transformation took place. I think that's why we want to bring AJ back, make it big, make it how much better can it be than coming back on Raw after being gone months and win the title? Bam! It's just it's a big deal. It gets guys like you and I talking. Yeah. I think it wasn't. I don't think Paige was taken out of the title reign because she wasn't capable of handling it. I think she was taken out of that role at that point because she was not getting over. And that's what this is all about. It's about getting over. Whether you're over as a face or over as a heel, getting a response from the crowd other than, Paige is on. You want a response. And they weren't getting it with that. So let's kick her off of this tangent, reset her, and take her off in this direction. And I think it's starting to work. I do. I think that she goes over tonight because it continues what we've talked about in the past, making her a heel. And she has to go over just cheap and sleazy tonight. She needs to just completely screw AJ. It sets her aside now as not just a heel, but a heel that wins by any means necessary. And I know a little about being all about that. I think that's why. AJ doesn't. She is over. She's good. She doesn't need the title to get the response from the crowd. Now you can sort of build up. She got screwed out of the title. Now we can kind of build her up a little bit, make her more sympathetic, make her more loved by the fans, and then puts that additional heat on Paige, which just continues to make her that heel. And we need that heel because there isn't a strong. I mean, since Beth Phoenix retired, there hasn't been what I would call a strong heel other than AJ. But AJ's gone both ways.
Alicia Fox.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm just not into Alicia Fox. I don't see her being. I mean, there have been times Alicia Fox has been the face on Monday, and then the next Monday she's out as the heel, and then the next. There's too many things. I don't buy it, and that's creative. That's probably a creative issue for sure. But I just don't see it right now with Alicia Fox, and this whole tangent thing that she's been going on. I don't know. It's got something there, but then where's it been the last couple of weeks? See, it's gone again. So you just need that strong. I mean, think back to the Attitude Era. Think about Trish when Trish was a heel. Oh God, you hated her. And when Lita was, sexing it up with Edge, what a tramp! I hate that, that bitch. So we need that strong, powerful alpha female character, and I think that Paige could fill the role. But that's one man's opinion.
I'm just going to say this in a nutshell.
And it happens to be the correct opinion because I am the evil genius.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this real quick. Paige has a lot of potential, but I still feel she's walking on eggshells. I mean, it's good that they did the reset on her, all right? No doubt about that. But I still need to see a little bit more. And I think for many of you Paige fans out there, if you want for Paige to continue in the direction that Titus is talking about, y'all better be making sure, those of you that's actually going to be going to SummerSlam, y'all better make sure you represent and you're cheering and all that. Because
no, you don't want to cheer Paige. You want to boo Paige.
Well, give her that reaction. Yeah.
Give her a reaction for sure. Don't cheer her because that's going to piss me off.
Yeah, give her the reaction. But my whole thing is I need to see more out of Paige that's been coming out, because right now I just don't see enough to go, okay, let's put the belt back on her. I could entertain that idea, Titus, if these girls, they go out, they hit a home run, they come out on Monday Night Raw. They need a couple of more weeks, and I think when it's all said and done, win, lose, or draw, these girls are definitely going to continue their program, because I just don't see any other divas sliding in there right now. These girls are definitely going to continue it on going into Night of Champions. I honestly feel these girls need to continue to tell their story, right? Just thinking about how Paige, didn't she like throw AJ Lee off the stage or some weird crap like that?
Right,
and okay, so AJ Lee, she's got to go get that big payback. So I think the big payback is tonight. But I do see Paige, if the cards are right. I know we were both reading reports online that there's something about Paige Vince McMahon doesn't like. I'm hoping he's found a newfound appreciation for her, because she has potential. She's just young, and they continue to have her work with AJ, because I am seeing that the chemistry is there. They just got to continue to build on it. So you're going with Paige. I'm going with AJ Lee. You guys, who are you going with? Let us know. And that should be an interesting debate right there.
And the thing about Paige is she can work. She can wrestle. That's what I'm real excited about this Divas division for the first time in a while. Is you've got, 5 or 6 really strong wrestlers. So we need to start building up Naomi. We need to start working her in there. We need to bring Sasha Banks and Charlotte to the game as well. We need to get rid of Eva Marie. We need to get rid of Cameron. We need to do something with Alicia Fox, or move along with Alicia Fox. I mean, it's either put up or shut up time with her right now, because she's been dancing around for years. And she can wrestle decently as well. So the Divas division is in really good shape, and let's not forget the Bella Twins in this whole thing as well. So you've got a lot going on right now. Let's start putting them together, because I see two girls sitting in NXT right now who are ready for a shot if they're not going to do something with what they got now either.
I will say this before moving on. I used to love her tremendously. I voted for her on the Divas Search competition, the very first one, but they need to get rid of Layla. Layla is just a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Every time I look at her, I say, my God, that's a wasted spot. That should be Charlotte. That should be Sasha. That should be somebody that's definitely deserving, because Layla is just going out there and it's just, I just get the half-assed vibe. It's like, that's good that you're going now. You're doing the whole thing for the Susan G. Komen Foundation. You're doing those little vignettes. That's touching. It's heartbreaking. You're doing great PR work. That's good. But every single time you go in the ring and it's time for you to perform,
show up short.
Yeah. And
I forgot to mention Summer Rae and Natalya, for crying out loud.
Even Summer Rae's come along very nicely.
She really has. Layla has not been good since Michelle McCool left.
Yeah.
The two of them were money. The two of them together, I think Michelle McCool was just kind of treading, and Layla was treading, and it wasn't. But you put that two together, that was money, man. And I'd love to see Michelle McCool back. Never gonna happen. But that's where Layla was at her best, was when she was, part of Lay Cool. I loved it, and I just think she's kind of lost without her other half.
Talk about a flag match, Jack Swagger versus Rusev.
Well, I'm going to tell you that this may be your sleeper surprise match of the night. Now, this is not going to be a catch-can kind of style wrestling match. It's not going to be a clinic. It's going to be a fight. I mean, that's all it's going to be. But I think these two guys match up very well. They both can work. They're not, your typical big man who just, fumbles through the ring. This isn't Khali in the ring. I see this as two big men who are good big men. It could be a really good surprise. You've got lots of interest. You've got lots of heat on Rusev. You got the pop for Swagger and Zeb Coulter. I think this is going to be that surprise match of the night that you go, there was Cena, Lesnar, there was, but damn, that Swagger match was pretty surprising. And that's what's going to be, in my opinion, because I think they match up very well. I think the ending is predictable in my mind. It is going to be Rusev who goes over in this match and continues his terrorizing of the world the way that his leader Putin does, because I don't think Swagger, even though he's a real American and everything's going well, I just don't see him being the guy, the Rocky that beats the Russian counterpart. Good match. I think it goes to Rusev, continues his dominance as the big Russian bear taking over America. And again, losing only damages Rusev's character right now. And right now, you get lots of heat. It's cheap heat. It's easy heat. It's the USA versus insert your enemy country at the moment, and you continue it on because you said something to me a few weeks ago that has been in my mind, and I don't care what rumors are going out there right now. My eyes are looking down the road at the Olympic gold medalist making his return.
Oh yeah.
Now he may be beat up, and Vince may not be interested. And all that may be true, but I see money in that matchup, and Vince McMahon sees money as over anything else. He brought Hogan back because Hogan is money, not because he loves Hulk Hogan. He sees Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist champion, who wears red, white, and blue to the ring, who's synonymous with America, and Rusev, the Russian mob monster. Come on, that's not money at Royal Rumble. Give me a break. That's money.
That's money. That's money. I'm with you 100%. I don't have anything to add to who's going to win. I got Rusev as well. Let's talk about an interesting match. Brie Bella taking on Stephanie McMahon. This should definitely be a surpriser of a match, and I'm saying that in a good way, folks.
Yeah, I agree. I think that what you have, Brie, the Bellas don't get enough credit. They work hard at what they do. They're not, they're not the best, women wrestlers of all time here, but they're good at what they do. Brie is a terrible actress. We all know that. Her strength comes into the ring. Stephanie, I think, has been working at this quite a bit. She has a great trainer in her husband, Triple H. I think this match should be much better than what some of the fans have been saying about it. I think it will be a good match. We're not looking for Bret Hart and Owen Hart classic here. We're looking for story. This is all story. This is drama. This isn't wrestling. I'm kind of torn. I've been bouncing back and forth on this. I have Brie winning at one moment because she's had her name run through the mud. She's had Daniel Bryan run through the mud. This is the chance to pay back and get her payback there. But then I go back the other way and say, well, Stephanie wins, and it continues the strength and dominance of the Authority. But we know that Stephanie also is not against embarrassing herself as she went into the mud or slop, whatever it was, a few weeks ago. So, no, it'll be Brie. I've gone back and forth. I finally locked myself into, because I have to make a decision. It's game day. It's Stephanie McMahon in a victory tonight. It will continue to push the storyline a little bit more. There's no payoff time yet. Let's draw this out a little bit longer. I have a belief that it's possible that Nikki Bella is involved in this. I see jealousy. Jealousy is the driving force in professional wrestling for years. Shawn Michaels is jealous of sharing the spotlight with Marty Jannetty. He super kicks him and puts him through the plate glass window. Jealousy is what breaks people up tag teams. Jealousy is what breaks up, good friendships. You got Brie Bella. She gets the a more of a quote unquote more of a spot during Total Divas than Nikki. Nikki's in her shadow. She gets the wedding that Nikki's been dreaming of. She's in her shadow. She's in the co-main event status of SummerSlam in her shadow. And so I think that Nikki does something tonight that and it shows that the Authority has the plan B options always there. This could also bring some heat between her and John Cena, who's been missing. We've talked about that for weeks. You have, Lee. Where's Cena in all this? Well, if she turns on her sister and brings heat, Cena goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And that could bring some drama to the whole thing as well. Is it going to happen? I'd say it's better than 50%, but I'm not sold that it will happen because it seems so predictable in some ways, but it seems like it's the outcome that makes the most sense for me. Other than that, I'm actually kind of not locked on an outcome. So I defer to you.
I was kind of going back and forth on this match as well, and I was actually thinking the same thing that you were, because they did plant those seeds a couple of weeks ago leading into this match. Nikki, look at your sister. Stephanie was planting those seeds in there, trying to sway her. Hey, look, your sister doesn't really care about you. You should really, come on board with us, was her whole pitch, basically. So I could actually see some type of an angle playing out. I think it's safe to say there's going to be definitely some type of a shenanigan going on during this match. I think we're going to get a straight-up one-on-one match. But, for the morale support, I can definitely see Nikki there at ringside rooting her sister on. I see something playing out, man. I honestly do, where Nikki could cost Brie the match, and it's basically done on purpose. I mean, kind of like the same way Triple H embraced Seth Rollins and all of that, Stephanie McMahon could be looking at Nikki Bella just like that. And honestly, I think this is a long time coming, because I've been saying it off and on past couple of years, Titus, that hey, it would really be awesome if we saw the sisters fight one another. And I thought that opportunity was going to come. I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, or maybe it's almost been 2 years ago, when one of the Bellas had last held the Divas Championship. It was like shortly right after Eve Torres left. And I thought right around that time they were going to plant the seeds to have one sister take on the other going into WrestleMania, but it never happened. So for me, I think they need to pull the trigger. They teased it. Why not go on ahead and pull the trigger? I'm looking at Stephanie McMahon for the victory. I think many people that are crapping on this match, they don't have a clue on what Stephanie has been doing. I mean, you see the great workout photos. I mean, the girl's been training, and I don't mean she's been training within recent weeks. Sister's been training for like months. She's holding it down with what, Titus 2, 3 little girls?
Yeah, and something that it really hit me how I was gonna crap bag on this match. I had said probably a month ago or more that I thought it was going to be a mixed tag team. Insert Triple H and Daniel Bryan to make it more of a wrestling match, and that may have been the original plan. Daniel Bryan's continued problems with injury may have made this change, but when I saw Stephanie deliver a really flawless pedigree with no knee pads, straight up on her knees. And for you who are listening, this is not a trampoline. This is metal girders, wood, and a half-inch piece of foam that's on the mat. These mats are not cushions. Okay, this isn't wrestling in your mama's king-size bed.
All right.
For her to drive her knees straight down and perfectly, didn't catch herself, didn't stubble, nothing. That tells me girl been working.
Yeah.
Girl been working, and we may be really surprised by what we see here. Now, am I setting the bar a little bit high? And am I risking the opportunity to come on here in less than 12 hours and go, yeah, that match sucked? Yeah, I'm risking that. I'm going to take that risk because I believe in what I saw in her work is what makes it believable to me that this is going to be a good match. Not great, but a good match. But we need some drama. It's not, you got to have the drama to cover some of the abilities to make it. It's not going to be, it's not going to be as good, I think, as the AJ and Paige match, but it's going to be good. We're going to have some drama in there because it's probably the co-main event of the evening.
Yeah. We're definitely going to all be in agreement when it's all said and done in less than, what's that, Titus, in less than, 10 hours, 8 hours, whatever. We're going to be saying Stephanie McMahon did pretty damn good in that match against Brie. Because, Titus, we remember Stephanie McMahon doing the pedigree years prior. It was sloppy as hell when she was doing it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's come a long way. I'm telling you guys, y'all are going to be like, Lee Titus, y'all crazy. No, you're going to be coming right back on here with us in a handful of hours, and you're going to be like, you guys were right. Stephanie McMahon did actually do pretty good. That was actually a good match, and we're going to be like,
remember, I am right. Calculated 97.856% of the time right now. It's up a little bit.
We only got 2 more matches. Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho, singles match. Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, banned from ringside.
Well, I think this is going to be a pretty good match. This is probably going to be the match of the night, top to bottom wrestling. Just it's going to be good. Their match at Battleground was good. This is going to be great. You've got the chance for those two to work a little bit more, practice a little bit more, get it together, get succinct a little bit better. You have Harper and Rowan allegedly away, so you're going to be able to focus on 2 guys in the ring. Chris Jericho knows how to bring the very best out of a worker, and Bray Wyatt is a good worker. So I see really good things for this match. Now, how does it go? I don't know, other than I know the finish is going to be Bray Wyatt. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't think twice about it. It is going to be Bray Wyatt. First off, Jericho's been very good on putting over young talent, a.k.a. CM Punk at WrestleMania, you know, whatever you want to put in there. I think this does end the current run of the two of them. Reports are that Jericho is going to be gone in another week or so, maybe a few more weeks. So maybe there's a little bit more. This isn't going to go, I don't think, the Night of Champions. He has a tour coming up with Fozzy. It's a short run. I don't know where we go from tonight. What's up next for the leader of the Buzzards or whatever he is, you know. I don't know where he goes. I don't think this continues. But Bray goes over in a really great matchup tonight.
Do we see Harper and Rowan come out regardless and try to assist Bray Wyatt? Because I'm looking at this card right now, and there's two notable names that's missing, and I'm surprised that they are not actually on the pre-show, at least defending their titles. I'm talking about Jimmy and Jay Uso. How can you have a pay-per-view without the damn Usos? I mean, last few WWE live events I went to, Titus, the fans are like, whew, they love the Usos. How can you not have the Usos?
Where have the Usos been? I mean, I can't tell you if I can even remember them being on Raw the last couple of weeks. I think they have, but I can't tell you. They put on these tremendous matches with Harper and Rowan for weeks, and all of a sudden, the tag team champions aren't there. I think if Rowan and Harper are involved, I think it's going to be dirty. I see like the lights going out, the music that comes on. Maybe the ref takes a ref bump, he's down. The lights go out, they pop in, they attack Jericho, they beat him down. The lights go back out, the music plays, pops back on, and they're gone. And the referee starts making his, you know, he wakes up and sees that, you know, Jericho's been knocked out. Bray goes over. I don't think that will happen because I believe that Bray will go over clean, and I don't mean, you know, and when I use the word clean, ladies and gentlemen, that is he doesn't cheat to win. I think he goes over clean, and it helps to push his character further along the storylines. I just see them not involved, but I could be wrong. You know, there's a 2.28% chance I'm wrong.
They got to get the Usos in there.
Yeah, you got to. I love those guys. Those guys have really come a long way from when they first debuted with Tamina, and I'm going, oh my Lord, these guys are terrible, and they were. They're still, you know, green as green can be, and they've come such a long way. And I'm sad that they're not on, you know, a SummerSlam card because they ain't getting paid.
Yeah. They worked hard. They earned it. They earned it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be on the card, ladies and gentlemen. You're paid to perform. And if you're not on a card, SummerSlam, which is going to be a bigger card, have a higher paycheck, that sucks. So I don't know.
And how long is the post? Not the post show, but the pre-show. Are they doing 30 minutes or an hour?
I think they're doing 30.
If it was an hour, I would have said they're going to be on there. They would have been on there. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is.
Main event time. John Cena defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Man.
It's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I wish they would have talked about this match. They don't give any sort of promotion to this match whatsoever, huh?
Well, we got the little...
I'm being a smart ass.
Yeah. I got you.
This is all we've talked. I get up this morning, I run through my news, I have the TV on the background, and my wife's watching some 80s, you know, I think it was Full House was on the TV. It was just noise in the background. And during Full House on Nickelodeon, that's what she was watching, was a Brock Lesnar John Cena SummerSlam commercial. So it's getting pimped like a mother. Only thing missing was the $9.99. This is going to be a good match. I mean, this is going to be a good match. Not great, It's gonna follow Bray and Jericho, which will be great. It's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a fight. I am actually of two minds on this match, and there's the typical, well, yeah, Brock comes in and he does what we all expect him to do. I think he does. I think I'm taking Brock Lesnar to win the WWE Championship tonight. He does it. He does it clean. He beats Super Cena, just like he beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. He beats him, and that's just the end of it. It continues to push him as that unbeatable beast that he is. He can even take over Super Cena, and that's what some of the fans will be looking for. But I would not be surprised if they pulled a switch on us and Cena beats Brock Lesnar. I wouldn't be surprised by it. Okay?
Knowing that there's going to be tons of feedback.
Tons of heat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But remember, Vince is a believer in any heat is good heat, right? Bischoff was, controversy creates cash. I'm never watching WWE again. And then they're on it tomorrow night watching Raw to see the explanation. It's possible. But the reason I say that is because Cena, for two reasons. Cena, they've been in legacy building mode for John Cena. 15-time WWE champion. How many of those title reigns have been short? A few. They're in a legacy building mode. He's on the back half of a career. He's in the fourth quarter in my mind. So they're building his legacy. He's given some incredibly passionate promos. He's as good promo right now than he has been in 6 or 7 or 8 years. He has been great on the mic lately. My concern about passing the title to Lesnar, when did Cena win the title?
Oh, what was it, like 2 pay-per-views ago?
So in my mind, he becomes a transitional champion.
About damn time.
That's what he is. But think about it, though. You go back and look at how many short reigns did he have? He had a few. Hell, he lost the title 1 year ago at SummerSlam to Daniel Bryan. He only had it a couple of months from then.
Yeah.
So that's a concern when you're talking about building him as the greatest champion of all time, which is, we all know is BS. But building him as the greatest champion of all time, but if you look at the record of 15 championships, there were lots of short ones in there, and that's a legacy issue in my mind. So I would be concerned. You don't want to start talking about 16-time heavyweight champion John Cena. Are you? I mean, are we looking at 16 or 17 championship runs for John Cena? Are we talking that? Because right now, 16 times, that's Ric Flair territory. Do you cut him off already in 2 months, and now he's going to be looking at his 16th run down the road? I don't know. I think they're in a dicey situation where you make him a transitional champion, you give him another short run, you're damaging his legacy, and I don't want to hear this crap about Cena sucks. I don't care. He is a 15-time champion. He's carried the WWE on his back for 10 years. That's what he does. That's what Hogan did. That's what Stone Cold. That's his job. All right. Even Evan Bourne has been out. Matt Slydell said good things about John Cena in a recent shoot interview, right? So let's just get off the bashing, all right? He doesn't bury young talent. Get over it. When CM Punk puts him over and Matt Slydell puts him over, he's not this piece of garbage everybody wants him to be. You want to tear him down to make him, you better than him, whatever. The point is, we're at a 15-time championship run. It's a short run at this point, 6 to 8 weeks. Do you risk making him transitional champion to Brock Lesnar, a part-time wrestler? And I don't have a problem with Brock being fully part-time and champion because it makes the title a bit more prestigious and all of that. I'll go with that. He doesn't have to be on the show every single week. I can go with that. I'm not talking about Brock. I'm talking about Cena here for a second. I don't want to be in that position, Lee Sanders. Do you? Do you want to be? I've only had the title 6 weeks. Again, do I want it taken off of me so fast? It's a tough argument. It's a tough pitch.
John Cena is due for a serious title reign as champion, especially if we're going to be hyping up the whole he's one of the greatest champions of all time. He's one away from tying Ric Flair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think given the landscape of the current WWE product right now, if we did not have a guy like a Roman Reigns, who definitely is going to be the future of the business, no doubt about it, then it would be a situation where, okay, you know what? No Roman Reigns. Who can we go to? Roster looks pretty thin right now. And even as hot as Dean Ambrose is right now for some of you guys, I don't even think
upper mid card.
Yeah, upper mid card.
Seth Rollins, upper mid card. Cesaro, upper mid card.
Yeah.
Yes.
So John Cena would be holding on to the championship longer. But they're looking at that kid in Roman Reigns, and they're saying to themselves, this is money right here. It's waiting. We got to get in on this. This is finally our opportunity to kind of break away from the Fruity Pebbles, you can't see me. But it sells really good merchandise. Put his face on something, it sells big time, all right? Put his little logo up, it sells big time. No doubt about that. You want to keep that money-making machine in there, no doubt about that. But you do, at the same time, need to have him take a back seat to this talent that is coming in, that's hungry, that's eager for the opportunity to shine, and they definitely are deserving of that opportunity. I have no problem with John Cena being a transitional champion, so as long as him being a transitional champion is paying off in a way where, okay, it's like, okay, you know what? This was actually worth it because all this good happened as a result of John Cena being a transitional champion. You go back to Daniel Bryan, Titus. I'm quite sure that the brass and management, they probably were like, man, they really want them some Daniel Bryan, huh? Well, we'll have to maybe look into this at a later date. Let's give them all these other options first. The fans didn't want those options. They wanted them some Daniel Bryan. They finally pulled the trigger on Daniel Bryan. I'm looking at the history of that WWE Championship belt right now. Cena had got it from The Rock April 7th, WrestleMania 29. He would lose it to Daniel Bryan August 18th of 2013. Daniel Bryan had it from September.
4 months.
Once, right? And then it was vacated like a day afterwards. And then Randy Orton had grabbed it in October of 2013. Daniel Bryan would get the belt back April 6, 2014, WrestleMania 30. He had to vacate it June of this year. John Cena would get it at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view shortly afterwards. So, I mean, the title has been kind of almost like a hot cake, honestly, since CM Punk really had held it last, and he held it for a good minute. But I have no problem.
34 days he held it for.
Exactly. I have no problem with John Cena being a transitional champion, so as long as they really make it count. I love the idea, Titus, of a champion in the Brock Lesnar, or just the idea of a champion, period, that has the strap, but we don't really see them like that. It like goes back to the days of Ric Flair with the NWA Championship, and like once every couple of weeks or once every couple of months he'd go to whatever promotion, he'd pop up, yeah, I'm here, I'm willing to take on whoever it is, that thinks they can beat a man, because honestly, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. I miss those days of the champion going around different territories and they were defending the strap and all of that. It's what made the fans come out and be like, oh, did you hear? Ric Flair's coming. Ric Flair's coming. He's defending the title, and you putting that money out there, you're going to go see him and all that. So I love that, and it plays perfectly to the type of schedule that Brock Lesnar has right now, especially if the end result is going to be them having Brock Lesnar collide with Roman Reigns for the strap.
But let me ask you a question here, okay? I'm going to interrupt and I apologize.
No, you're all right.
This is the road to WrestleMania. Tonight starts the transition. You're getting on there, and it gets hot and heavy in about 4 months at Royal Rumble. We want to work from WrestleMania back to today. That's how I would be booking Mania, from today forward. So you start building today for that. What is that main event match? What is the biggest money-making opportunity to put in the main event of WrestleMania 30 in California, in Santa Clara, excuse me? What is the biggest match we can put together? Is it Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns? Or is it John Cena and Roman Reigns? Because for me, I see Cena Reigns, the passing of the torch, the way Hogan did it for Warrior, the way that Andre did it for Hogan, the way that, that's the way that Shawn Michaels did for Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is what this business is this passing of the torch. I don't see as many dollar signs between Brock over Cena. I see Cena Reigns as the money-making opportunity. The only way I say we don't put that match together is that I have something bigger for John Cena. And you know what I'm talking about, bigger for John Cena?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. That's the only reason I don't put John Cena in the main event with the WWE Championship belt and give that title to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It's the only reason. That's why I'm saying that.
It might be testing the fans' patience, but what about Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus John Cena? You could have John Cena be the one that gets pinned, right? Brock Lesnar could make the argument he was never defeated for that championship and that the kid was lucky. And that could basically set up a one-on-one match for Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Down the road, maybe at next year's SummerSlam, maybe you could have it be Roman Reigns defending against John Cena one-on-one, just to kind of stretch it out a little bit. But what about that? You think the fans would be able to tolerate a triple threat?
I couldn't. I want the main event to be mano a mano. The best guy versus the best guy. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion against the winner of the Royal Rumble. That's the purpose of it. They mucked it up this year with 4 guys in that main event. The match was mucky muck. I want the point of WrestleMania is, in my opinion, and fans, you can correct me if you're wrong, at Evil Genius Titus over on Twitter. I believe that the main event, the crown jewel of WWE, is WrestleMania, and that main event is that centerpiece of that crown, and it should be the very best thing out there. A one-on-one situation generally is the best option. Now, your matchup is intriguing, but it misses some things for me. The idea of passing the torch is you got the better of me. If you got the better of me with him in the ring, did I pass the torch to you, or did I just, was it in default? I want to see Cena and Reigns in the match one-on-one at WrestleMania, and I want to see Cena beaten by Roman Reigns, and the C Nation has passed the torch to the Roman Empire, and we're ready to start the next era of WWE. Doesn't mean Cena leaves, guys. It just means that the era has been passed. Does that mean he doesn't get another title run? Because he still could. I don't know if Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar, unless you want to do Cena Reigns at 32, which is, again, you may have some things in pencil all the way to 32 or even 33. But where do you fit The Rock and Roman Reigns? Because that should happen too. That's family. That's blood. That's money too. So I put John Cena, Roman Reigns in the center of WrestleMania this year, unless I can do more money with Cena. And I think that's Hogan. And Hogan this weekend, what you saw what he said.
Oh, yeah.
He got one more in him.
Yeah.
So
That's a real tough one, man. But see,
Brock, if I see the landscape going out right now,
yeah,
Brock beats Cena. Brock, like you said, isn't on every week. It does add some prestige that the champ's here tonight. Ooh, I get that. I'm with that. That's old school. That's territory days.
Yeah.
But then I got to see Hogan and Cena at Mania because that's the money. That's the main event. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the world title, that becomes secondary to my son's hero taking on my hero as a kid at WrestleMania. That's money all day long. That takes that $9.99 from 600,000 to 1 million people to watch it. Guarantee that's 1 million people buying the network to be able to see that matchup. But that's the only way I don't do it, Lee. It's the only way I don't do it. But that's just my WWE. This is Vince's and Stephanie and Triple H's WWE.
So it sounds like, Titus, the way you're pitching it, no matter what, it sounds like you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong here, Brock Lesnar, even if he is to defeat John Cena tonight, Brock is probably going to have to give that W back to Cena and the strap so that Cena could possibly go into WrestleMania taking on Roman Reigns if Hulk Hogan physically isn't ready to do one more match.
Possibly so. I mean, if Hogan doesn't, get it to, if he's, I have to imagine if he's out there talking it, and Vince isn't saying, Terry, shut up, it's not going to happen. You can't pass the physical. If he's talking about it, that means that he knows he can pass the physical, or has passed the physical. There's all these reports that Hogan couldn't get past the WWE physical to compete in the ring. If he's talking, I got one more match in me, Vince will tell him to shut up. Vince will tell him, you can't say such things because it's not going to happen.
We should know. Yeah, we should know. Hulkster has even been stirring the pot with Stone Cold Steve Austin, saying, Steve Austin said that he's bigger than. No, I disagree with that. I was actually bigger than him. The whole Attitude Era was only about 8 years. He basically was selling out places for like a couple of decades.
Right.
And he even put out a challenge that, hey, we can settle it in the ring. So Hogan, we know how he likes to stir stuff, but
yeah, that's true.
I'm
not buying Hogan Stone Cold. I'm not buying Hogan Stone Cold. I'm not buying it. I would have bought it 6-7 years ago. I'd have bought it 10 years ago. I sure as hell would have bought it to say WrestleMania 18 instead of The Rock. I would have bought that. I don't want to see that. I actually want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin and CM Punk. That's what I want to see. And if Vince could get on the phone and say, Phil Brooks, I got Steve Austin. His name is here. Put yours there. Let's get this shit straight. But that's never going to happen. So what I'm saying tonight, I believe Brock Lesnar beats John Cena and goes to WrestleMania. Now, there have been reports that doesn't mean it's necessarily him winning. That means he's going to be at Mania. But I'm going to, at this point, 6 months out or from Mania or whatever it is, Brock beats Cena. He does that territory feel, and I like where you put that. Title reign. He shows up on pay-per-views. He defends the title. He's this beast. He's this monster. Nobody can beat this monster but the guy who wins the Royal Rumble, who's been hot for the last year, Roman Reigns. He's the beast killer. He goes into WrestleMania and starts the Roman Empire on a dual main event card where John Cena takes on Hulk Hogan in the battle of whatever you want to call it, and that's what I'm selling you right now today on August 17th. Brock beats Cena. I'm just throwing out. It would not surprise me if you're sitting there tonight and you're going, "What the hell? How did Super Cena wins again?" Yep, Super Cena wins again. I won't be stunned. So you out there listening, get off your stun caps. It could happen. Don't be surprised. get your well thought out anti-Cena diatribes. Get that draft saved on Twitter, save that spot on Facebook. I'm never watching WWE again because it's possible that you're going to post that tonight. Okay, just have it ready. You have all day long to come up with something clever, to come up with something catchy, because it's possible. That's all I'm saying. I'm picking Brock Lesnar. I've picked him for 4 or 5 weeks now. I'm just throwing at you. I've not seen John Cena better on the mic than I have the last couple of weeks. And I got guys I follow on Twitter who I've known personally and known for a while who go, Cena's not, Cena's what's wrong with this business. Go, man, Cena looks good right now, like I hadn't seen him in a long time. That's a direct quote off of Twitter. So I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm.
But see, here's the other thing. Brock Lesnar, let's say he loses. Then what the hell was the whole point of the Undertaker build-up, all that good stuff? He conquered the streak. Where do you go with Brock Lesnar if he loses to Cena tonight? Because we're going to be talking about it. Our colleagues are going to be talking about it. It's like, okay, they buried Brock Lesnar. Some would kind of say they buried Brock Lesnar, that they had this golden opportunity.
Which means they buried The Undertaker.
Exactly.
Cena beats... Lesnar beats Undertaker. Cena beats Lesnar. Cena better than Undertaker. That's what it says. I agree. But that was 6 months ago. Things change. I believe that you're right, but that doesn't mean that they aren't going to shake things up and they aren't going to change things around. They aren't going to flip the script, because not every single, 90% of the people watching WrestleMania were expecting The Undertaker to win. I'm just saying, don't be the googly eye guy at ringside tonight going, Cena won? Don't be that guy, because it's possible. Anything's possible, man. I mean, if WrestleMania 30 has taught us anything is possible in the WWE. Undertaker lost the streak to Brock Lesnar. Never would have I wouldn't have put money on that. So anything is possible. They're building legacy. They're creating this whole greatest world champion thing of all time. It sure sucks to have the title for 8 weeks and lose it again. So that's all.
Somebody wants to get technical. Rick actually won more than 16. Titus, that's you.
Pass.
Good for you if you know the exact number of... now, how are you looking at this? Are you looking at this as far as every single title that he has held? Because if you want to go at it from that point, nobody is arguing that. Nobody is disputing that, all right?
I think that you're talking, 16-time World Heavyweight Champion being NWA, WCW, WWF/E, 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. Because anything else out there doesn't count in the world of WWE. Remember, you're in the WWE universe. Compare it to the Star Wars universe, okay? Star Wars universe, you are the movies, the 6 movies. What happened in those movies is what happened in the Star Wars universe. If there was a book out there written by somebody like Timothy Zane's books, I'm a big fan of the Thrawn series. None of that counts in the realm of Star Wars. Same idea. If WWE owns the rights to put that on the network, then it counts as far as WWE is concerned. I'm not going to argue the whole, well, he had this, and then there's TNA, and then there's,
Yeah.
we're talking WWE world right now. We're not talking real world, okay? Doesn't count.
Right. And the reason why, and let me just address you because I don't want you to feel like, we're not properly showing you respect.
I agree. I agree.
Talon Blom, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. The reason why all these years later, let's really get this right, because for you to nitpick on that, I just think but to each its own. The reason why he is dubbed 16-time champion is because he won the NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship on 3 occasions, and he was a NWA World Heavyweight Champion 13 times. So that's how you get 16. Everything that's happened in between all that, unfortunately, it was tag belts, television titles, Intercontinental championships. If you want to get technical, he was a WCW World Heavyweight Champion on 8 occasions, but a lot of people don't really count that because, correct me if I'm wrong, Titus, but didn't it start off World Class Championship Wrestling, then it got acquired, and then it became WCW or something like that?
It was, if I recall right, it was the NWA.
Okay.
Turner, and then it was Crockett owned that. Crockett bought UWF from Bill Watts.
Right.
And then financially he had to move on, and Turner bought it, and he changed it to WCW and separated away from the NWA and all of that. And that's my memory, and I know someone may correct that, and if it is, please tell me that. And again, and you're right, I'm not knocking on the guy. I'm just telling the guy we could make the technical. I mean, technically, he's more than 16 times because you could count, but that's how they refer to him. So let's just refer to him in the realm of WWE vernacular.
Yeah. But yes, you are correct that he did it more than 16 times. I think that's an entirely different topic for another time, which just really shows you the lack of respect that WWE has for the WCW promotion. But hey, that's all I'm going to say with regards to that. All right, so one more time.
Another show. That's another show.
One more time.
What surprises do you expect tonight? I mean, it is the SummerSlam of which is the WrestleMania of the summer. It's becoming this whole all hands on deck sort of thing. You've got you've got HBK is in Los Angeles. Stone Cold, wasn't Stone Cold down there? On that panel. Hulk Hogan, was Sting not on that panel as well?
Sting was on that panel.
So it is all hands on deck. Do you have any expectations? What are your thoughts about extras tonight?
I see the stars aligning very well tonight. I definitely see some type of a WrestleMania intro feel with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. I can definitely see them making some type of a cameo, maybe at the beginning of the show, halfway into the show. I can definitely see something like that happening that will make the fans just really, ooh, wow, whether or not Sting will pop up, I mean, that's an entirely different question. I mean, honestly, if it was me, I'd be like, look, Sting, you're here, we're here. How about you make a brief cameo? I mean, perfect scenario, they could just have some type of a backstage segment, and you could just see Sting, peeking around the corner from a wall or something. You can
put him in the rafters, damn it.
Or put him in the rafters, yeah. Or hell, one sweet spot that would really be awesome. You could just have him show up in the nosebleed section, right? And he's just standing there, and the fans are just all worked up, and they're chanting and all that. And for us at home, we aren't really sure what the hell they're excited about. It turns out Sting's actually there for 10 seconds. Then he turns around, goes back with security, and then you could be like, oh yeah, that'd be I'd be jealous as hell if they did that, specifically for the Los Angeles fans. I'd be like, damn, you guys got to see Sting, and we didn't get to see it at home. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm of the belief that tonight you see Hogan is, reportedly still in town. He didn't fly out back to Tampa, so if he's still in town, he's probably going to be there. I expect him. I expect Stone Cold. I would even expect HBK to be out there during SummerSlam of some sort. Will it be the three of them in some sort of, WrestleMania rehash? Maybe. I do not expect to see Steve Borden physically at SummerSlam tonight. If it were me, and I know that I have a contract signed with the name Steve Borden on the bottom of it, which at last report that has yet to have happened, right? If he is under contract, I do not have him on camera tonight. I would simply have a crow or a vulture, to be honest, a la WCW days, in the rafters, and that's all. A spot. It just starts to warm the water. I don't think that you necessarily does it work within the Sting character? Does it work within the world of professional wrestling just to go, hi, today we have no Sting, and then tomorrow, hey, we have Sting now? I don't think you do that. I think in the realm of WWE, Sting has been gone for 12 or 13 years, ever since WCW closed its doors, because we know that TNA doesn't exist, and some of us would like it to be true. But that you have to warm the world up, in my opinion. You turn the fire on the pot of boiling water. You do that by simply placing that imagery up on the television set, there in the rafters, up away from everything, is the spotlight, and that freaking, if you went back to the WCW Clash of Champions, where Sting was up there in the rafters, and it was that vulture, I would just put that vulture up in the rafters, up there, and and have anybody talking and go, have doing a promo or whatever, and you just, what the hell is that? And the spotlight goes on there, no music, no nothing, just that vulture, and that tells Lee Sanders, and that tells Titus Machiavelli, we got Sting, and he's coming. That's all you need to do. That's enough to get me a chill. I want to chill. Get me started. And then the conversation goes, Dad, what is that? What is that? That's a vulture. What does that mean? Let me tell you about the man they call Sting. And you go to the WWE Network, which only costs
$9.99,
and you show your son what Sting was all about.
Yeah, that's badass.
That's me. But it all comes with Steve Borden signing a contract with WWE. And that probably isn't going to be a Legends deal. It's probably going to be a short-term deal where you've got, it's probably going to be a one-off at WrestleMania. It probably is going to be a one-off. I expect that. I don't expect to see him do a program, although I'd love to see him and Bray Wyatt. That'd be badass as can be. God, that would be badass as can be. Bray Wyatt and Sting. Just that those two sort of characters together. That just gets my mind flowing, those juices flowing. But it's going to be a Hall of Fame induction. It's going to be a one-off, probably with Undertaker. If it happens, that's what it's going to be. I don't expect any programs, any temporary contracts, no Brock, Rock, Jericho type of things. It's a one-off.
If they have in fact signed him, then yeah, I think tonight needs to be the night that they start giving us a little bit of Easter eggs. Do that spot that you mentioned. I think it would be hilarious if maybe we saw Curtis Axel and Ryback in the locker room. They're getting ready. They're trying to get their gear and all that, and one of them finds a big black bat, and it's like, what the hell is this doing here? And that's a teaser right there. Or
little things,
yeah,
white makeup,
like
a Sting mask.
Yeah.
Something that tells the fans it's done and it's coming.
Yeah, that'd be badass. Let's recap for the folks one more time our picks for this Sunday's pay-per-view here. And I actually do not have my list. Titus, help me out here.
I'm going to take a list right here, and we're going to make our picks, and we're going to keep track as we go along, and we're going to see which one of us does better. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good. That's
Pre-show, Rob Van Dam and Cesaro. Cesaro for me as well. So we have our Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
And I have matched you Seth Rollins as well. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler.
Miz.
And so far, we are both the same. This is boring. Roman Reigns and Randy Orton.
I'm tempted to say Randy Orton, but I keep going back to the Roman Empire, Roman Reigns.
And, of course, we know I'm a big Roman Reigns guy. Here's where we're going to have our separation, AJ Lee and Paige.
AJ for the retain.
I have Paige for the championship. Jack Swagger and Rusev. Rusev across the board. Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon.
Stephanie.
And I have met you on that one. Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho.
Jericho won the last one, right?
Correct.
I'd be a fool to pick against Jericho. I got to go with Bray Wyatt.
You'd be a fool to pick against Jericho, but you went with Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant.
So you just called yourself a fool, Reed. See how easy this is for me, folks? I'm an evil genius, but I get set up so easily with stuff like this.
Yeah, Bray won the last one. I'm going with Jericho.
No, Jericho won the last one.
Jericho won the last one?
Yes.
I'm going with Bray Wyatt to win tonight.
Okay. And in the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, live on SummerSlam on the WWE Network for only
$9.99.
You can see John Cena defend his championship against Brock Lesnar. I, of course, am taking Brock Lesnar.
Just to represent the C Nation, I should just go with John Cena.
Are you going to be a fool, or are you going to go for Jericho? I mean, I'm sorry.
Right. I should go with John Cena just to like try to represent the C Nation guys, because I know there's probably going to be a lot of people that's going to be picking against John Cena. They're siding with Brock Lesnar. This could be a match, Titus, that could be like, what a twist. You were expecting this, and you got this instead. And then
like I said,
yeah.
Get your draft saved in Twitter. Get your drafts put together of what you're going to say, just in case, because it wouldn't be shocking to the insider himself right here if John Cena defeated Brock Lesnar. Although I am picking Lesnar to win because that's the way I see it. But remember, we're dealing with forces that are out of our control. I love that there are betting lines on this, because there is no it's a predictable outcome. But I just see that I'm trying to do what has happened versus what is to come and what is the best money. I mean, if we're going with the best money, I'm picking Cena to win and put Cena against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But if they got Hogan locked up for WrestleMania against Cena, well, then that's more money than anybody's going to draw. And obviously, you need Brock and Roman to be that. It'll be the main event, but it won't be the main event. So that's how we pick them, folks. You don't pick with your heart. You pick with your heart, you're gonna be let down. You go with what you see is going on, and you have to make some assumptions and put some predictions in there. So your prediction is?
And we got Brock Lesnar booked for Night of Champions. At least that's what we're hearing right now. Do they maybe get the whole talk about Brock Lesnar defeating Undertaker and all that? Do they maybe just squash all that, have him lose to John Cena, rematch at Night of Champions? See, that's something I just now thought about.
If all you've heard for 6 months is I am the one behind the one in 21-1.
Yeah.
So how do you squash that? You don't. You don't squash it. So this is the man that's the Undertaker.
Sorry, C Nation. I gotta go with Brock Lesnar.
It's the smart thing, but I know you probably agree. It's not going to be a surprise that in 10 hours when we join you folks one more time, that we talk about. Well, let's get holy crap, John Cena did win. Would not surprise me at all to start our show that way. And if that's the case, oh, Lord, we're going to light up our YouTube channel with all kinds of comments, Lee Sanders.
Yeah, I can see it now. I can see it now. Speaking of that post-show, yeah, we'll be coming on at 10:45 or 10:50 p.m. Eastern, pretty much as soon as SummerSlam goes off the air. Join us. We'll be covering Fallout and review. We'll also include you guys' great reactions. I see some decent interactions coming in on this piece. I'll actually kick on back and reply to you all. Titus probably will at some point as well when he gets an opportunity to. But keep the continuation of your picks for what you think is going to be coming in for tonight's pay-per-view. A lot of good discussion going on right now. A lot of Sting comments in there. So I think.
What do you see on there at this point? Anything worth?
Well, let's see. Let's see. Let me just take a look real quick.
I love to hear from you guys.
Eric, if Bray doesn't win clean this time, they might as well send him and the bunch back to NXT to develop new characters. I mean, seriously. I know I and many others can't even take him seriously anymore. I still think he has great mic skills and good in the ring, but that have booked him. Okay, I think he's trying to say, but they have booked him to the depth of that character. Maybe the WWE travesty of the booking of the year.
I'm going to interrupt and I'm going to say I disagree. See, the great thing about the Bray Wyatt character, and it goes back to sort of like the Undertaker character, how many WWE World Championship reigns did the Undertaker have? A handful. But he's widely considered one of the greatest, WWE superstars of all time. Bray Wyatt has not needed to win. Look at the reaction he gets. Look at the reaction of the crowd with the cell phone lights all throughout the arena. He'll get it again tonight. And he's over. He's good. He doesn't have to win anything because it plays into his character. The machine continues to keep down the voice, and the voice doesn't, he plays right into those losses and those. I think he's fine at this point. He's treading water until they're able to use him creatively. Right now, you've got the Authority being the main focus of the WWE main event portion of the show, and it needs to be that for a little bit longer. He's right there. You don't want to put a title on him because titles are meaningless in this game for the most part, guys. We're not counting wins and losses. You don't go, hey, I'm 127 and 45. I'm a great wrestler. It doesn't work. Don't count wins and losses. The only one that mattered, and that's over, was Undertaker at WrestleMania. Outside of that, wins and losses don't matter. Okay, he's good. Okay, don't stress. Buy into the character. Buy into the love of who Bray Wyatt is. Listen to the message. He's not going to be a heel because he's preaching to a large group of you out there that love to hear it. And every time he doesn't win, actually plays into his character a little bit more in my mind. So stick with him. He's fine. He's not buried. I don't believe he's buried at all. I think he is right where he can be. He's not being overly pushed, but he's by no means. He's fighting John Cena and Chris Jericho this year. What a terrible year he's had. Two big stars.
Yeah.
He's not facing, Zack Ryder on main event. Now you get pissed.
Yeah.
Because now he's being buried. No, he's got a good spot right now.
There's one more that really jumps out at me. You could feel free to reply to it if you'd like. It comes from WWE fan Jamie. I expect this to be a very enjoyable show. Every single match has potential to be good, and every single match has a purpose for being on this show. Overall, it looks good, and if I had to bet on it, I'd say it'll definitely be good. I only have one complaint: a lumberjack match. Really? Mm-hmm. That's a terrible decision. Seth versus Ambrose still has potential to steal the show, but damn, that stipulation is atrocious. Nonetheless, there's a lot of positivity for this show, and I can't wait.
You've been listening to me So you're a genius. You're a minion. You're right on where you need to be. Great card, top to bottom. Main event, for me, a pay-per-view should be, the majority of matches should fit really easy into the main event of Monday Night Raw. That was what a big card feel should be. Almost every one of these matches could easily be fit into that slot, like I said nearly 2 hours ago when the show opened. I agree on the Lumberjack match. I'm only hoping that it serves a purpose, and I think I described my purpose earlier with the beatdown of Dean Ambrose because of what's allegedly being said that he's going to take some time off, which I wouldn't take time off to make a movie at this point if I was him, but you don't get that say-so. Big card feel. It's exactly what SummerSlam is supposed to be. We should be excited for it. We should be going. This is, this isn't Battleground. This isn't, some second-tier pay-per-view. This is one of the upper echelon, the top four, and it feels like a top four card. It feels like a top two card, and I think it's a great show tonight. And I think that if you're on the fence on getting that WWE Network, look, we tease it often. They pitch it a lot, but for $10 a month, man, it is a great value. This card alone is worth the $10 that you'll spend. I mean, look, there was this time last year, Lee. We spent $49 to watch SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For the year, I'm going to spend $60, and I'm going to get all 12. So let's forget everything else out there. Forget the fact, it doesn't have all the AWA. Go to ESPN and watch the AWA. It's still there every single night at 3 o'clock in the morning. That tells you how important that show is. Let's be honest, guys. It's on at 3 a.m. on ESPN 15. All right? For $60 a year, this show, this is worth it. It's $50 this time last year to watch this show on pay-per-view, and I get to watch it for $10. Actually, I got it for free because WrestleMania cost $60. I bought the network. I'm just paying my $60 prorated by the month. It's so worth it. This card is worth the $10 a month. If you're on the fence, if you're like, I don't want to do it, I don't get a dime for this. Neither does Lee. We don't make any money. This is all. It's worth it to go. I have gone back and I've watched Clash of Champions. I've watched a lot of WCW stuff with my kids. I've shown them Sting. I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see the Monday Night War, not the TV program. I want to see them put up the very first Nitro and that matching Raw, and I want to see it up every week. And I want to live through the Monday Night Wars for one more time by doing it every week and watching those on a Tuesday night or something like that. Maybe they should put that on Wednesday night. There's no wrestling on Wednesday nights that anybody wants to watch anyways, right?
Oh, wait, I heard about...
There's a dig in there. There's a dig.
I heard about some company thinking about... If I'm Vince, I'm free. Give me a call. I would run 4 hours of programming Wednesday night, 2 hours Monday Night Raw from April 1st, 1998, followed by April 1st, 1998 of Monday Night Nitro after that 4-hour block. I'd watch that over total nonstop asinine wrestling. Now, I'm going to be fair for just a second. I know we're almost out of time here. I'm not a TNA guy. I don't comment on the TNA shows with Lee. I don't participate in that. And I've heard positive things about the program over the last couple of weeks. It doesn't matter to me. They sunk it. It's over. The Titanic is still one of the greatest ships in the entire world ever created, but it's on the bottom of the ocean. Okay? They've sunk this ship. It's done. It's over. They're not getting a TV deal, and the one that they do get offered won't be enough money to be able to maintain their programming unless they run it at the high school gym, and that makes it no different than any other show out there. Vendetta Pro Wrestling, my old company out in California, they drew 1,000 people at their anniversary show just a week ago. They outdraw TNA month in and month out. What's the difference? They get $1 million TV deal that's going to go away. That's my problem. I knock TNA all day long.
TNA needs to be sold, not the Vince, because I don't believe in that. That doesn't do anything for anybody. They ought to reach out and say, hey Jeff, how about getting some money back on your original investment and get out of it. Dixie Carter needs to get out. She's not a wrestling person. She doesn't hire wrestling people. It is all the things that's wrong with WWE multiplied by a factor of 100. I run the WWE Network. I run the Monday Night War every single Wednesday night, both shows, back to back. Bury TNA because I'm watching that. I'm not watching TNA. And they want to move back to Thursday? Good. We got NXT, which is better than TNA. You want to run it Fridays? Oh, no, we can't do Fridays. Although they're saying that SmackDown's moving to Thursday, which means I put NXT onto Fridays. But nonetheless, I would do everything I possibly can to put anything against TNA so they just can't compete. Because let's be real, they get 1 million people watching Impact Wrestling, but if you can get for $10 a month, be able to watch Monday Night Wars and watch both Raw and Nitro back to back every single night, I don't care what TNA puts on against it. This is better. So I'm out. I'm done.
That joint says they can't move to a new time slot and day. Pretty soon it's just going to be coming this Christmas. You've asked for it, and now you're going to get it. TNA, a Merry Christmas special. And then basically, like, TNA does, like, these holiday shows a couple of times a year.
Live from the county fair, and I feel bad. What was it? Kurt Angle was going to take the Ice Bucket Challenge, and he was using that to promote the TNA house show yesterday. Not the card, not the matches, not to come and get meet and greet. Come see me get dunked in a bath of ice water. That's worth your $5 ticket. That's sad, Lee. That is sad. So I'm hoping that all things are true, that Kurt Angle can get the hell out of there. I hope he realizes that he did, I'm proud of you can't be proud of what's going on now. And get your butt back over to the WWE, go against Rusev, be the American hero, get out of there. Because I was listening to Sting on our broadcast colleague, Jim Ross, listening to Steve Borden.
Love that podcast.
He buried TNA. He did it much nicer than I would. I don't have a sort of a career that Sting has. So he's being diplomatic and nice. I'm not. I buried them because that's where they did the wrestling. They buried wrestling, but he buried them. Now things are not running the way they need to be. They could have kept the icon Sting. He's in their Hall of Fame. He bolted because they don't know wrestling. And now their next Hall of Fame guy, Kurt Angle, he's going to leave. And the only reason that Bubba Ray and Devon are not going to is because I think there's issues with WWE and the Dudleys, and they're never going to go back at this point. And so they're going to be the only Hall of Famers in the TNA Hall of Fame that stay.
Mm.
Their founder left. What does that say?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that was, correct me if I'm wrong, that's part 2 of the Jim Ross podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. How long has it been out now?
About 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that.
Ooh,
I was way behind. I'm way behind. That's the last one I've heard myself, so I got to get caught up.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, on that note, I would be running a new show on Wednesday nights, and I would do it immediately if I was WWE Network and start getting people watching something that they want to watch on the network on Wednesdays. That's what I would do.
Same here. I mean, that's a good strategy. Folks, if you want to send any anti-hate mail as far as the talk of TNA, you can send it to
Titus Evil Genius Titus on Twitter. Feel free. TitusMachiavelli.com. Hit me on the website. It's cool. I'm not made of glass, ladies and gentlemen.
I see. I'm much more friendlier until I see TNA does something that's just like, what the? And I've done it in the past, but the programming has been good. But like I said the other day, Titus, this is probably going to be TNA's last desperate move in trying to keep some type of a relationship going with Spike TV. I do wish them nothing but the best, because for me, it's definitely, and I know Titus agrees with me on this 100%, it's not about the personnel. It's not about the management.
Not about the talent whatsoever. I am pro boy. I'm all about the boys in the locker room.
Yeah, I want them to keep having the job, because there's really not that many options that's out there.
It's Dixie Carter.
Yeah.
I'm only blunt, guys. It's Dixie. I want Dixie out of this business because she doesn't belong in it. Oh, she took a bump in a table. Oh, that's so brave of her. Bull crap. All right? It's a gimmick to try to get you to watch TV because you hate her guts. I didn't even watch her take a bump. I don't care. So it's Dixie. It's Dixie. It's Dixie. It's Dixie. It's Dixie Carter. Do you hear me, Dixie? It's you. Get out. I hope it fails so she's out and somebody can come in and save it, because we need places to work. We need places like TNA. We need places like Global to come up and do something, for crying out. Jeff Jarrett, do something. You're talking about this promotion that's not even doing anything. Do something. Run a show. My God, man. So I want AAA to come up and be phenomenal. I want them to be phenomenal, because when you do these things, that means that WWE has to risk losing talent. And if they risk losing talent, they get good. Look, it's a simple process of capitalism. And as the American capitalist, I know something about this. If your competition is kicking your ass, you better bring it, because you won't be bringing it anymore. And you got billions of dollars invested in talent and lights and a network and programming, and you got some small little company like TNA kicking your ass, you're going to bring the product. No one's challenging WWE. So don't get me wrong. I'm on a tangent. I don't mean to be. This is a SummerSlam preview show. I want TNA to be successful, not this TNA. This TNA is run by a rich debutante who's playing wrestling fan. I want it run by wrestling people. Same complaint we have when they bring tennis pros, tennis coaches to WWE. Get the hell out of my wrestling show. Same people who destroyed WCW, who were sitting in the ivory tower at CNN Center, who was telling Bischoff, who is a wrestling person, maybe not the brightest one, but he is a wrestling guy, telling him, this is how we do things at Turner Sports. Get out of my wrestling show. I want wrestling by wrestling people. That's when it's good. That's when it's great. And that's my problem with TNA. Not the talent. I wish all these boys can make as much money as they can. They bust their ass. They go out there, and these guys go out there in front of 25 people at a baseball stadium and put on a show and risk themselves. One of the Wolves just broke his damn leg in front of what, 50 people?
I heard about that, yeah.
Bull crap. Yeah. Bull crap that he broke his leg in front of 50 people. Because what was he doing? He was putting on a show. And then you get, I'm blanking his name, who broke his neck and then TNA kicked him to the curb. What was it? It was Jesse Sorensen.
Yeah.
Screw Dixie Carter. She screwed over Jesse Sorensen. Say what you will about Vince McMahon, because Vince will probably be the first guy to say he's a piece of garbage. But you know what? Edge has nothing but good things to say about WWE for the most part and all his injuries. A lot of guys have good things to say about their injuries. How many guys have gone to rehab a dozen times? Scott Hall. And WWE still pays for it.
Yeah.
TNA, Dixie Carter kicked Jesse Sorensen to the curb. He broke his damn neck in her damn ring, and she swore to his mother that she'd take care of his family, and what does she do? Okay? That's my issue, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to do with any of those boys and girls in that locker room busting their leg for you. They're the best talent in the world. They have the greatest entertainment in the world. There's nothing I'm more passionate about than professional wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. That is my issue. Rant over.
Yeah, hey, it's a damn good rant, though. I hope you guys appreciated that. It's rare we get Titus on a passionate rant here, especially on TNA, because to his credit, he really doesn't get to talk about the TNA product like that. So for you SummerSlam fans, we'll be back in just a handful of hours. One more time, we'll be coming on at 10:45 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after the pay-per-view goes off the air.
I'll be more focused. I won't be ranting.
Yeah.
We'll deal with facts. We'll try to do it like in an hour or something.
We promise, just SummerSlam talk. For those of you that did not appreciate the TNA talk, I have a feeling, though, that we probably struck a good core of a fan base that loves all forms of wrestling. They probably
love this sport. I love this sport so much, Lee. I could talk.
Yeah.
We've been here for 2 hours. We talked. We talked about doing this in 30 minutes.
I know, right?
but I love this business so damn much, and I'm passionate about it, and the passion is a good thing. So be passionate about what you are, and I appreciate the passion. Look, we have very passionate fans who listen to this and tell me, Titus, you're wrong. I don't believe this. I hate, you come up on a tweet to me. You come up on a tweet to Lee. You tweet the show. You make a comment in the YouTube. Do it. I want dissenting opinion. I want it. I beg for it. You come at me with passion and respect, I will treat you with, hey, you know what, in the end, we disagree. And that's okay. I hate that me and Lee are sitting here on 9 matches we agree on all but one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start throwing curveballs at you. But show respect, but show passion, and you'll get my attention, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and shut this down, and we'll rest up for a little bit. We'll see you guys in just a handful of hours right here live on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do so. We try to do some really good content for you here on a weekly basis. Follow Titus at Evil Genius Titus. That's on this. You can follow us as well on Twitter at the RCWR Show. And for all the other links, you missed all that, check out the episode description below. Titus Machiavelli, Lee Sanders, wishing all y'all to be safe, be kind to one another. We'll see you in a little bit for our SummerSlam post show. Everybody take care.